हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल। जी फ्रेंड्स, क्या हाल चाल है आपकी? उम्मीद करता हूँ आप सब लोग खैरियत से होंगे। मैं हूँ मुस्तनसे मिराज
और मेरा नाम है अबूबकर।
तो फ्रेंड्स, आज हम जिस वीडियो पे अपना रिएक्शन देने जा रहे हैं, इस वीडियो का ओरिजिनल लिंक और चैनल का नाम हम नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन में दे देंगे, आप इनको भी सब्सक्राइब कर सकते हैं। और आज की वीडियो का टाइटल है जी
इंडिया फ्यूचर ग्लोबल सुपर पावर।
तो फ्रेंड्स, वीडियो को स्टार्ट करने से पहले अगर आप हमारे चैनल पर नए हैं तो प्लीज हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब जरूर कीजिएगा, बेल आइकन को प्रेस करना ना भूलिएगा ताकि हर नए आने वाली वीडियो का नोटिफिकेशन आप तक पहुंच सके। तो क्या ख्याल है, वीडियो को स्टार्ट करना चाहिए?
स्टार्ट करते हैं।
India is quickly transforming into a global superpower. For thousands of years, India has been a center for human civilization, a heart for trade, religion, history, and culture. The subcontinent has hosted some of the largest empires in history, who exerted influence throughout the continent.
हिंदुस्तान की हिस्ट्री तो बहुत ही पुरानी है ना।
For much of the 19th and 20th centuries, India lacked global influence. Divided among many empires and kingdoms, Then, on August 15th, 1947, India was granted independence from the United Kingdom, along with neighboring Pakistan. However, just 2 months later, armed conflict broke out between the religiously divided nations in the region of Kashmir. Over the next 25 years, India and Pakistan fought in 2 more wars. This conflict, combined with excessive government regulations on the economy, limited development. Then, in 1991, the Indian government began a massive economic liberalization program. Import tariffs and taxes were reduced, while markets were deregulated. This policy brought in massive amounts of foreign investment, boosting the country's industrial and service sectors. From 1991 to 2019, India's GDP by purchasing power parity increased 772%, from 1.1 to 9.56 trillion US dollars. Meanwhile, India's population soared. Since 1960, India's population has increased 209%, from 450 million to 1.39 billion people in 2021. Over the coming decades, this population growth will continue. By 2027, India's population is projected to surpass China's, making it the most populous country in the world. And by 2050, its population is projected to reach 1.64 billion people. This growth will keep India young and its labor force large. Over the next 30 years, while China, the US, and Europe's labor forces decline, India's will grow, providing a major economic advantage. In fact, by 2050, India's GDP by PPP is projected to pass the US's to 43.2 trillion US dollars, making it the second largest economy in the world after China. This growth will boost the country's GDP per capita. By 2050, it's projected to reach $26,000, nearly 4 times its value in 2019. This is a lot less than Russia's today. However, India's economic growth is not guaranteed. Currently, the country's infrastructure, which is key to attracting investment and fueling further development, is largely inadequate. To improve its infrastructure, attract investment, and foster economic growth, India is pursuing many large-scale mega-projects. The first is the $90 billion Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor, a massive infrastructure corridor currently under construction. It will have rail lines, airports, highways, smart cities, power projects, and ports. After this is complete, India hopes to develop several more corridors between Amritsar, Delhi, and Kolkata, Mumbai and Bengaluru, Bengaluru and Chennai and Visakhapatnam. These corridors, along with other projects, will form a golden quadrilateral of infrastructure between the megacities of Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, and Chennai. In addition to its corridors, India is pursuing a $75 billion highways program called Bharatmala. The Delhi-Mumbai, Delhi-Amritsar, Katra, and Ganga expressways, along with the Char Dham highway, are part of this initiative. Along with this, India has created Sagarmala, a $116 billion program to build new megaports, improve the current ones, and establish 14 coastal economic zones. The The Trivandrum International Seaport, which is under construction on the country's southern tip, is part of this program. Along with infrastructure, India is constructing new cities to attract investment. In the state of Gujarat, it is building Dholera and Gift City, two brand new
smart cities.
Meanwhile, it is continuously developing Navi Mumbai, where it is building a $2.2 billion international airport. Hopefully, these mega projects and smaller ones will successfully attract investment and boost economic growth, making India a global economic powerhouse. In addition to its infrastructure mega projects, India has several major advantages that will help lift it to superpower status. First of all, its shape naturally provides the country with lots of coastline. Almost all of the country is within 1,000 kilometers of ocean. This natural advantage improves the efficiency of getting goods to port. In addition, India's vast coastline strategically sits along one of the world's busiest shipping routes. This situation brings plenty of business to its already existing ports, and will do so for its new trade hubs and smart cities. Furthermore, India now serves as the largest democracy Because of this, it is able to politically influence both countries in the Middle East and Southeast Asia, along with China, while garnering the political support of other world democracies. Throughout the past decade, India has improved its ties with other major democracies around the world, including the US and European nations. During this time, it has also worked to develop friendly ties with China and has tried to improve relations with Pakistan. And since Narendra Modi became Prime Minister in 2014, India has increased its assertiveness and leadership in foreign affairs. It has openly challenged China on disputes in the South China Sea, has increased its aid and interference in other countries, and has publicly expressed its opinions on international events. In the future, India will almost certainly increase its assertiveness in foreign politics. While India's political influence expands, its military will grow. For the last 3 decades, India has kept its defense spending budget at around 2.5% of its GDP. Because of this, India's defense budget has skyrocketed along with its economy. In 2019, it spent 71.7
defense budget भी काफी बढ़ा दिया है,
almost double its budget a decade before. Nowadays, it has the 3rd largest defense budget in the world, behind the US and China.
73.7
billion.
billion.
The Global Firepower Index, in 2021, India has the 4th strongest military in the world. Behind China, it has the 2nd highest amount of available manpower and the 2nd most active personnel in the world. It also has the 4th strongest air and land forces and the 9th strongest naval force. India is already a global military power. If it keeps bolstering its armed forces, it will soon be a military superpower. While India's political and military influences expand, its technological and cultural influences will do the same. India's space agency, ISRO, is the 9th largest in the world and is quickly advancing. It has sent 2 unmanned spacecraft to the moon and owns one of the 8 operational satellites orbiting Mars. In late 2021, it will launch Chandrayaan-3, which will hopefully land a rover on the moon. Currently, it is developing a crewed orbital spacecraft and other satellites to study Mars, Venus, and the Sun. Like India's defense budget, ISRO's budget is also increasing rapidly. In the future, India will certainly be a major player in space exploration. In addition, India is participating in other technology sectors. It is part of the ITER program for nuclear fusion and is helping advance biotechnology, IT, the medical field, and many other technologies. Lastly, India's cultural influence is expanding. The Indian film industry, Bollywood, is the largest in the world by box office revenue and tickets sold. Not only is it popular in India, its movies are attracting millions globally, especially in Africa. In addition, Indian cuisine, music, festivities, and fashion have all found expanding global markets. This cultural influence is also being spread by India's overseas population. India has the largest overseas population in the world, with 32 2 million people of Indian origin living abroad. Many of these individuals have found success, forming strong bridges and links. In the UK and the US, they are the highest income ethnic demographic. In the future, India's overseas population will continue to spread its culture. Finally, not only are Indian people going to foreign countries, foreign people are going to India. In 2018, 17.4 million tourists visited the country. This is still relatively low, making India the 23rd most popular tourist destination in the world. However, with a rich history and beautiful sights, tourism is growing rapidly.
हिस्ट्री बहुत पुरानी है ना, हिस्ट्री को देखने के लिए भी लोग आते हैं
tourists as a decade before. By 2028, it's projected that India will receive 30.5 million tourists, almost double 2018. These tourists will contribute to the economy and absorb the nation's rich culture, spreading India's global influence. Despite all these optimistic trends and predictions, India still has some major problems to overcome. First of all, climate change presents a huge threat. India has the highest climate change of carbon in the world, which is a measure of the economic harm caused by emitting 1 ton of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. India's is $86 per ton. For comparison, the United States has the second highest cost at $48. In India, global warming is increasing the frequency of heat waves, and sea level rise will flood coastlines, especially in West Bengal, Odisha, and Gujarat. Extreme precipitation events are becoming more common, and the monsoon is shifting. Lastly, air pollution is causing major health issues. Another issue is overpopulation. If managed poorly, India's population growth could increase poverty and unemployment while decreasing food security. Furthermore, terrorism is a threat. According to the Global Terrorism Index, in 2020, India was the 8th most impacted country in the world by terrorism. The country's north and northeastern regions are repeatedly attacked by Islamic groups in Kashmir, Sikh separatists in Punjab, and secessionist groups in Assam. Although terrorism has decreased in recent years, it still serves as a threat to Indian people and a deterrent for tourism. Another issue is social division. The nation is still fighting to remove the legacy of its centuries-old caste system. Currently, many lower caste individuals lack education and economic opportunities. On top of all this, India is now dealing with the coronavirus, which has caused an estimated 155,000 deaths as of February 2021 and decreased the Indian GDP by 8% in 2020. And still, India has border disputes with China and Pakistan. During the summer of 2020, the Chinese and Indian militaries engaged in skirmishes near the country's disputed border. Lastly, massive protests have broken out against 3 Farm Acts passed by the Indian Parliament. This, combined with growing ethnic and religious division, threatens the country's stability. Despite all these issues, India is developing quickly. India's economy, military, and cultural and political influences are expanding, setting it up for a global superpower status. What do you think? Will India become a global superpower? Let's talk about it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, it would be amazing if you like and subscribe for more videos very similar to this one. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
तो फ्रेंड्स, मैं यहाँ पे बात करना चाहूंगा कि 1991 से जो है ना, इन्होंने अपना काम स्टार्ट किया है, इकोनॉमिकली अपने आप को स्ट्रॉन्ग करना शुरू किया है, जो जिसमें कि इन्होंने पॉलिसीज अपनी चेंज की है, टैक्स जो है वो रिड्यूस करने शुरू किए हैं, जिसकी वजह से कंपनीज जो है लगनी शुरू हुई हैं और आहिस्ता 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 जो है अपना रेवेन्यू कमा के तो आज इंडिया जो है इस मुकाम पे पहुंचा है कि बहुत ज्यादा फील्ड में आगे जा रहा है इंडिया।
ऐसे लार्ज जो 3 डेकेड्स हैं उसमें सारा काम हुआ।
और इसके अलावा जो है अब जो है मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज का जो ना हब बनता जा रहा है, पता है आपको इंडिया। ये जितने भी मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज हैं वो इंडिया में आके काम करना चाह रही हैं, अपने यूनिट जो है इंडिया में इंस्टॉल करना चाह रहे हैं,
मार्केट बन गया ना।
तो एक तो इसका ये भी है ना कि मार्केट बहुत बड़ी है, मार्केट इतनी बड़ी है, लोगों पॉपुलेशन के लिहाज से पॉपुलेशन का अगर एक फायदा भी है यार। इस वीडियो का एक चीज और भी अबकर मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा है, वो ये लगा है कि जैसे इन्होंने दिखाया है कि इंडिया क्या अचीव कर रहा है या फ्यूचर में क्या अचीव करने जा रहा है, उसके साथ साथ इन्होंने प्रॉब्लम्स भी बताई है कि इंडिया की प्रॉब्लम्स क्या है। जैसे कि पॉपुलेशन की एक तो फायदा भी बहुत है कि पॉपुलेशन की वजह से मार्केट बढ़ी है, हर इंडस्ट्री जो है यहाँ पे आके काम करना चाह रही है। और
दूसरी तरफ बताया है कि अगर पॉपुलेशन ज्यादा होगी तो फिर नौकरियां उस हिसाब से
नौकरियां होगी, फिर जारी बात है खुराक का मसला होगा, फिर उसके अलावा अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट होगी, उनको नौकरियों का मसला बनता है। तो पॉपुलेशन का एक लिहाज से जो है साइड इफेक्ट भी है। और इसमें एक और चीज बताई गई प्रॉब्लम में, जो क्लाइमेट चेंज है।
क्लाइमेट चेंज ये तो पूरा सब कॉन्टिनेंट का इशू है,
ये तो सारा पूरी दुनिया का इसका
मसला है। और दूसरी बात वो जो आलूदगी वगैरह, पोल्यूशन वगैरह, सारा काम ही उसका है।
ऑब्वियसली यार, जब मल्टीनेशनल कंपनियों का हब इंडिया बनता जा रहा है तो इसमें जो है इंडस्ट्रीज लगेंगी, वो फिर पोल्यूशन भी छोड़ेंगी, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड भी छोड़ेंगी, तो फिर जारी बात है क्लाइमेट तो चेंज होगा ही होगा। और इसके अलावा अगर मैं बात करूं ना यार, ये मल्टीनेशनल कंपनियों की, आपको पता है बड़े बड़े यूनिट यहाँ पे लग रहे हैं, सैमसंग, एप्पल यहाँ पे फ्यूचर में लगने जा रहे हैं। सैमसंग का तो इंस्टॉल है, एप्पल का जो है वो आगे में इंडिया में लगने जा रहा है।
वो अच्छी रोड मैप पकड़ा हुआ है इन्होंने।
हाँ बिल्कुल। और इसके अलावा जो एक मैं और आपको चीज बताना चाहूंगा कि ये इसरो का जो इनका स्पेस प्रोग्राम है,
जो बताते हैं।
हाँ बिल्कुल, मैंने लास्ट वीडियो की है यार, उसमें भी मुझे काफी ज्यादा हैरान हुआ कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया जैसा मुल्क जो है वो इनसे हेल्प ले रहा है अपने स्पेस प्रोग्राम के लिए। तो आप अंदाजा कर सकते हैं कि इनका स्पेस प्रोग्राम कितना ज्यादा अच्छा सक्सेसफुल रहा है, कि तभी तो यार ऑस्ट्रेलिया जैसा कंट्री इनसे हेल्प मांग रहा है।
वो प्लान बताया था ना जिसमें उन्होंने बताया था कि मून की तरफ भी वो
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। और इसमें एक और मैं आपके नॉलेज में इजाफा करता जाऊं कि नासा जो इतनी बड़ी क्या कहते हैं उनको, स्पेस है, स्पेस प्रोग्राम पे काम करती है, उसमें जो है ना 36% इंडियन साइंटिस्ट है यार, 36% इंडियन काम करते हैं
उधर उनके नासा में।
बिल्कुल। तो जैसा कि इंडिया सुपर पावर के तरफ जो टैलेंट भी है, सुपर पावर की तरफ जा रहा है, इसमें नो डाउट यार कि हर फील्ड में डे बाय डे वो आगे से आगे बढ़ता जा रहा है। और अगर ये जो अपने इन्होंने साथ प्रॉब्लम भी बताई है, अगर वो कंट्रोल कर लेते हैं तो मेरे ख्याल से कि वो वक्त दूर नहीं है। अगर इसी तरीके से तरक्की करते रहेंगे तो ये सुपर पावर बनने के करीब तक पहुंच जाएंगे।
ऐसे आगे से आगे जा रही। और अगर ऐसे बस अपने जो प्रॉब्लम है उस पर ध्यान रखें, फोकस करें।
बिल्कुल।
तो फिर
तो फ्रेंड्स, वीडियो काफी इंफॉर्मेटिव वीडियो थी, काफी ज्यादा जानने के मिला इंडिया के बारे में, तो हमें काफी ज्यादा अच्छी लगी है। ये
क्रेडिट उसी भी जाता है जिसने वीडियो बनाई है,
बिल्कुल सारा क्रेडिट तो भाई उसी को ही जाता है। तो फ्रेंड्स, ये थी आज की हमारी वीडियो। आपको ये वीडियो कैसी लगी है कमेंट सेक्शन में जाके हमें जरूर बताइएगा। और अगर आप हमारे चैनल पर नए थे तो प्लीज जाते जाते हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करके जरूर जाइएगा। तो आज का साथ यहीं तक था। जाने से पहले फ्रेंड्स अपना बहुत ज्यादा ख्याल रखिएगा, हमें दुआओं में याद रखिएगा। मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में, तब तक के लिए हमें दे इजाजत। अल्लाह हाफिज।